Michael, let me get to you first. Alibaba, for the first time, is breaking out U.S. GMV, that is the amount of sales that American brands have sold over the event. With 1 hour to go, that figure was $5 billion. Do you have the latest? How does it compare to past years? What's the opportunity for American brands in China right now amid a pandemic when traditional sales are under so much pressure?
Deirdre, we don't have the final number just yet. We may get it during this broadcast, but we're well above $5 billion for the U.S. It reflects the participation of thousands of brands and small businesses, and particularly the small businesses like Bissell and ALLBIRDS and Uncle Bud and Fender and many, many others that we've put a priority focus on. And I think the most important message here for the U.S. brands is that a China strategy and a digital strategy is going to be critical in the post-pandemic world. And we have seen enormous interest in both the very large businesses like Apple and Estee Lauder, and of course, many of the big brands like Nike. But for the smaller brands that are producing terrific products, they also have the ability to reach that Chinese market. And with great technology and with the digitization that we're putting in place to make sure they can reach consumers, they've all done extremely well.
Yeah, and speaking of that, Joey, I was a little surprised to hear that ALLBIRDS would be participating. Of course, we know the brand well in San Francisco, where it feels like every VC and founder is wearing a pair of ALLBIRDS. But in China, I would imagine a new brand, especially for a consumer that typically likes the big name brands like Nike. What told you that you should be going into China, and how did it work out this year for you, your first Singles Day?
Yeah, well, I think Michael's right. China is very important. It's a huge market for every brand now that's global, us included. We've been there for just over a year, and this period, the Singles Day period, we've seen 3x growth, and the platform has been a really good friend to us. They treat us like a great brand that they're proud to support, and it's a wonderful sales channel for us. And I just say, there's also the idea that Singles Day is very promotional, but we're not a discount brand. We don't do promotions. We actually offered an exclusive product that's aligned with environmental ambitions that we have. We call it a D9 product, which is for the carbon emission of the product. And consumers in China ate it up, and they really like the idea that they can have great innovation and a great new product without extracting as much from the planet. So really happy with the success this year.
And Deirdre, just one comment on when the pandemic struck, all 4 of ALLBIRDS offline stores in China were closed. So we worked with them to come up with a digital solution for video chat so that they could still connect with their customers and tell them what shoes work with what outfit, sort of the most important curation of their business. So this is what when I talk about digitization.
Right. We heard from our Eunice Yoon how big a part live streaming was a part of this event this year. But as you know, Michael, we also take a look at stock price. And this year, Singles Day was overshadowed by new draft rules from Beijing on anti-competitive behavior among big tech companies, Alibaba included. We saw from Ant Group last week that new regulations can hit big tech hard in China. How is Alibaba preparing for new rules that could potentially stimulate growth, particularly in the cloud business, which is so critical?
Well, look, in the antitrust proposals, these are proposals that have been put forward for public comment. And so it's going to take some time before we have any clarity on where it goes. So I'm not sure it's particularly fruitful to spend a lot of time speculating on what the likely outcome is. As it relates to Ant, that's a very different situation. What we see in innovation and innovative companies and industries is a requirement for the regulator to also adapt and evolve. And I think that is not unique to China. You see that everywhere in the world. So the key is, number one, we have to have close collaboration with the regulator to help in the development of the appropriate regulatory environment. And number two, we need regulatory transparency so that investors, the company, regulators, everyone else can see the transparency and understand the rules by which the game will be played. And that's where we're headed.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.